today. Let's go over to Charlie Eccleshare and see what he's saying. And he said today that Moussa Sissoko, Serge Aurier and Davinson Sanchez have all been told that Spurs would like to move them on this summer. So they've actually been told that they're welcome to move on. We've heard about Sissoko with rumours linking him to the Middle East. We've heard about Aurier, that no bids have come in whatsoever for Serge Aurier. And with Davinson Sanchez, we've heard that Sevilla are interested. We've heard that a few unnamed clubs are also interested in Davinson Sanchez. Realistically, do you think that we will move all three on this summer?
I would hope so. I think we will. I really am hopeful that we will, because I think at the moment there's no place for these players. Sanchez, I think out of those players, is the most sellable asset in terms of getting real cash for him.
Yeah.
You would have to think that he's the only player on that list that you could get at least 20, 25, 30 million for him. But I think they've all been here a while now. We all know what kind of player they are. They don't seem to be learning from their mistakes. I think, especially with Sissoko, he's now 32. It's time to definitely move him on. I think it's time the club's definitely come to an end. Aurier's got 1 year left on his contract, and we know he's a player we can't rely on. So I think in terms of Aurier and Sissoko, it's a case of even if we don't get the fee that maybe we want, I think it's important to try and our hardest to shift him out the door. In terms of Sanchez, I think we need to get him out. I think again he's another player who I'm thinking he's been here 3 years, hasn't really improved. However, if you ask me which one of those I'd be willing to keep, if I had to keep one of them, it would be Sanchez, just because he's still young. If he's under a new manager, maybe Nuno can do something with him, and maybe he can improve under a different coaching style under Nuno. I'd still want to sell him for sure. I would rather get the money, but I think he's the only player on that list. I would think if we are going to keep him, I'd rather keep him than Aurier or Sissoko.
The thing is, I kind of disagree with that, and I think I might rather keep Serge Aurier out of those three, just because of how light we are at right back. That's the only.
Yeah, but then we're
leaving
them, we're giving him away on a free.
Yeah, I mean, look, how much are we going to get for him anyway this summer?
Between 8 and 10 million, I would say.
I'd rather have Aurier and not be light at right back. You know what I mean? Obviously, we need to sign a right back or two if Aurier was to go. I mean, we need a right back even if Aurier was to stay. Probably. I know we've got Doherty and Aurier, but it's just nowhere near good enough going into a season.
Correct.
I know what you're saying, and I know I would want to sell Aurier ideally as well, but I think that with Romero, if Romero does come in, we're okay at centre back with just selling Sanchez and not bringing one in. With Aurier, I'm not too sure, man. I'm not too sure, and we need to bring in a top quality right back.
We're not gonna sell. I can't see us selling Aurier and not bring anyone in. I can't see that. I think that's an impossible situation. It's impossible. How can you be that negligent? I don't think we would be. I can't.
We've done it before.
I can't imagine us selling Aurier and not Britain. We can't.
We've done it before. We sold Kyle Walker. We only had Trippier there, and who else did we have?
Signed Aurier.
And we signed Aurier. Yeah,
Trippier and Aurier. We did sell when we sold Trippier. We didn't replace him. That's true. We went into the season with Aurier and Foyth, but according to Eccleshare, Nuno sees Matt Doherty as expendable. That's what he said. He says many players. He says, for instance, it is assumed Nuno will want to keep Matt Doherty because of their success at Wolves. However, the new manager might value a familiar face. However, it's forgotten that Nuno actually sanctioned the deal that allowed Doherty to join Tottenham a year ago because he wanted a more comfortable, progressive option at right back. If the right offer came in, the expectation is that Nuno would sanction a sale again. So I can't
even more so then, like if both of our right backs are up for sale and there's like no real rumours. Yes, there's rumours about Tomiyasu, but that seems to be slowed down at the moment, so there's nothing going on there. There's no other right backs that are properly linked with us.
I know.
And like we got 2 weeks to a season now, and both of our right backs are up for sale.
Yep.
I mean the right back situation to me seems a mess at the moment.
It's a lot more dive than just two right backs up for sale. According to this article, the majority of the squad are up for sale. That's what he's saying. He's saying the Sissoko, Aurier and Sanchez have been told to move on. But the only players who are not up for sale, he's saying, is Kane, Son, Lloris, Lo Celso, Ndombele, Dele, Davis and Bergwijn. Everyone else is up for sale.
Interesting. Even Lucas Moura is up for sale.
Even Lucas Moura. He said Lucas Moura is considered
but only
a player
if a big offer comes in.
If a good offer comes in, he'll sell him. So, I mean, it's not. I think it's not just about those three players. A lot of the players at the moment are up for sale, which is considering how close we are to the season, how unsettled must the squad be right now with 2 weeks to go? You should be really starting to get in with the manager's tactics and start being like in pre-season. You're supposed to use that time to get fit on the pitch and also know your role in the team and how to play within the
under
team.
a new manager.
Exactly, and we're here trying to sell our whole squad. And we don't know the players don't know what if they're going to be involved next season or not. That probably has a massive effect on their mentality. It's like, well, why would I try that extra bit? Why would I try that extra bit in the double sessions and whatnot to really get fit or whatnot if I don't know if I'm even going to be here in a few weeks' time? Like, what is it in it for me right now? Like, I think at the moment we're still a mess. As much as everyone was happy and whatever with Paratici coming in and Nuno. Well, look, at the moment we're still a mess because we don't know what we're doing. We don't know who we want, who we don't want. Nuno's still assessing the squad, and which is part of the reason why it was so important to get him in early, and we've appointed him so late, and now we're still playing catch up. So whereas everyone else in the top four pretty much has very, very settled teams, very settled squads, settled managers. None of the managers are under threat or anything. Everyone's settled. They're just focused on improving their team. They're focused on getting players through the door who they know can fill in gaps which have been missing last season. Whereas Spurs, we're just we're basically an open car boot sale at the moment, and we can't even focus yet fully on getting players in we want until we know exactly who we don't want. And at the moment, it seems like we don't know who we don't want at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the right back situation, I'd be happy for Aurier and Doherty both to go if we can bring in both. I think the perfect right back options for us would be Tomiyasu and Dumfries. One attacking right back, one defensive right back. Mix and match to who we're playing against. I mean, those two would actually be such an upgrade at right back, and like I said, you can mix and match to the opposition. Dumfries has got a massive ceiling and a massive future ahead of him. Tomiyasu as well. So I mean, those two were the two that we should be looking at surely, and they wouldn't even cost that much money.
I think how we'll go is we'll sell Aurier, and I think Doherty is going to end up staying. Because I think we signed him last season 15 million.
Yeah.
We gave him a 4-year deal, so I don't think Levy's going to accept anything less than 15 million.
I reckon 10 maybe.
Maybe a slight loss. So right now, do I see anyone actually coming in for him? I think it's difficult to see that. I think Aurier, people could, even though Spurs fans who watch him week in, week out, will know that he's a bit of a loose cannon and whatnot. I think people still see a lot of quality in him. Even Spurs fans see quality in him and what he can bring to a team. And I think whereas our demands on our expectations of a right back are quite high, I think other clubs would see him as an acceptable option. Whereas Matt Doherty at the moment, the season he had, I think people just see him as very, very average. I think Aurier on his day is a better than average right back, but Doherty at the moment hasn't proven that for Spurs.
Do you think not like a Norwich or a Brighton would be happy with Doherty in like a mate-weight deal for either an Aarons or a Lamptey or something like that?
Maybe. I mean, I'd love to think yes, but it would require. I would think that would require, because if they're asking, first of all, Brighton were asking between 40 and 50 million. Yeah. So you're then looking at like 35 million plus Doherty for Lamptey. Aarons, they're looking for 30 million, so you're looking at like 20 million plus Doherty. I mean, I would love it if they accepted that. I think that would be a good deal for us, but whether Norwich see that as maybe they'll just want the straight cash and get their own replacement in, they'd probably prefer that.
But obviously, if it goes down to like the wire, right down to the end of the window, and it's like Max Aarons tries to, let's say this is all hypothetical, obviously, there's no real talk of it, but Max Aarons tries to push to a deal late in the window. He knows Tottenham are interested. Maybe they'll get in Doherty, because look, for Norwich, he'd be an all right quality there.
Yeah, but maybe they would rather develop a player, for example, signing a player from the Championship who has potential rather than getting an average Premier League fullback who doesn't really fit their system. Because I don't think Doherty would fit the way Norwich play. They like to play very offensive fullbacks and stuff, and I don't know if Doherty would fit that. He maybe would fit. I tell you, who would fit. He would fit like a Burnley, something like that, or a who else is in the Premier League right now who like isn't the like a Newcastle, something like that. A team who isn't the most offensive.
Maybe Everton with Rafa Benitez.
Maybe I don't think Everton would be interested in him, but I think
I
think Burnley would be the perfect.
Did Everton have it right back?
They had Coleman, and then they were kind of having Holgate and they were kind of Godfrey kind of rotating.
They're making these silly signings, Everton, at the moment. You know, Andros Townsend, Damari Gray. I mean,
well, you got to remember Andros Townsend played under Rafa at Newcastle, and he was great for him for those 6 months. Yeah. So maybe he is a player who we think he could trust. But
at the end of the day, he's a player that got released from Crystal Palace. And he's signing for Everton, which is nuts to me.
It is pretty crazy because he wasn't that great at Palace. He was all right, but he wasn't like unbelievable.
Apart from that goal against Man City.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Palace fans actually like him, but I don't think he was never, a player he never got he very rarely even got 5 goals in a season. You know what I mean? So. He wasn't exactly a winger who was very effective in the final third. He still had the same problems he had at Spurs, pretty much.
Probably had about average of 5 shots a game and 5 goals season.
To be honest, his best spell in his career was probably that Newcastle spell under Rafa, I would say.
Yeah, probably.